Hi everybody, welcome back to Stamping School. This bundle has been sitting on my shelf for a few months, and I admit I didn't give it a look-see because I don't know. I mean, I like bees, but I had the Be My Valentine, which was the other bee with the punch, which I liked, and I have enough bees there. But then I opened up the dies that went with this bundle, but I didn't know about these right here, these Hexagon dies, and they're big. They're really good size, and there's 5 of them in here. Now, if you already have the Hexagon dies, great, then use these projects I'm going to show you and make your own. But look at these. Now, they're nice. But then, when I started cutting them, I was delighted to see that you also get the outline or the frame. So for instance, every time you cut these, you're gonna get a skinny layer too. So obviously you could look, you can just layer these, right? They're nice. But then look, you get these too. I'll show you a card I'm gonna make with these. So because the dies have the double cutting on them, the double cutting channel here, you get all of these too, the frames, which really layers nicely. Now, maybe you don't want everything that comes in the die set. Like I didn't really need something that said Our Hive. These little word sentiments here. But there are some things you could do with the rest of it. So of course, these 2 dies right here will cut out the bees. Now if you have the bee punch, this one, it will cut these out also. These are slightly larger, so you won't get the outline. It'll be even closer, but they fit and they work just fine for all of that. But if you don't have the bee punch, well, now you have these. And you know, I love to use these like quote bubbles, which I'll show you in one of the cards. To me, these just look like quote bubbles, so you can put little thoughts in there. And then these right here are the wings. So they look like this and like this for the wings. But then when you cut them out, this is what's left. And aren't they the cutest little bunny ears that you could put behind something? There's like 2 sizes of these cute little bunny ears that will come out. And then I saw these and I immediately thought they look like flowers to me. So if you take 3 of the small ones and put them together, look, they're really fun little daisies. And the large ones, you take 3 of those and put them together. I mean, you know, if you're trying to make things happen and you don't want to do bees, these are kind of cute. That little yellow flower comes in the die set also, right here. And of course, the ones that say Our Hive, they also have these outlines. So for instance, you cut this one in a coordinating color and then put that one on top. But I thought, boy, they really look like clouds. If you're not into the Our Hive or the little antenna guys, it's got a cute little heart though. And it's got 6 cute little flowers, which we're gonna use today. But you could definitely cut these up and make them really fun clouds. If you don't have a cloud die, look. Clouds. So I'm really happy with the dies with just these. I'm loving these. All right, let's show you some projects with them. So I cut the largest one on Melon Mambo like that to make a card that looks like that. And if you just take a regular card front size, this is your basic 5.5 by 8.5. And you put this just a little bit above, just a wee bit above the fold. And make sure you tape it down so that it's nice and straight. But you don't want to cut the seam right there. And you just a wee tiny bit. And you put that on your cutting plates and then you roll that through. And I cut through both at the same time. Now you may have to run it through and then run it back through again, but if your machine doesn't like to do 2, but it worked pretty well for me. And so that's how I got that to cut like that. Now some of you say, how am I gonna mail that? And I know you're gonna ask. So I take any like smaller card like this, and I will still put it in a regular 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, you know, A2 size envelope. But the key is you want to put a little piece of cardstock inside that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that will keep this from getting all, you know, messed up when it goes through the mail. So you can do that, and it's still gonna be just a regular first class stamp as long as it's not over an ounce. Now the paper that I used, I had some Friends of the Ocean paper, and I did not get the stamp set because I wasn't sure how much I'd be using lobsters and fun stuff like this. So I think it's really fun and happy, and it's great paper. So I just cut a few layers of those in the descending sizes here. So I did 1 layer, 2 layers, and then this layer. I fussy cut out this cute little crab. And then the high is used from that die for the bee to make a little quote bubble. And I used Friends for Life, the high right there. So, and then some sequins on there, and I did put a little bit of the shiny fine tip glue on there to make him a little shiny, some ribbon, and then a few more layers on the inside. I just got this fun card in the mail from my friend Sarah Rigby, and she used like one of those little wobble springs for her crab and this fun fold, which is great. So this is just a folded in right here, and that one's folded in and it folds flat. So it's really cute card using that bundle. All right, so that's my first one. This one, so pretty. 5 by 5 card, so it's 5 by 10. Like that, side fold. And the measurements will be for you. Just look for the recipe down below, the link for the PDF. I went through my color wheel on this one. So I went over to Peacock and Lost Lagoon, sort of in there. And I thought, well, what colors could I do for this? And I never would have put Coastal Cabana and Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock together. I've done them independently, but I've never done all 3 together, and I really like it. So this is Pool Party back here. This is Lost Lagoon, and then this is Pool Party, and then the Peacock. Now this is where those little white layers come in handy. So I've got my Lost Lagoon, my Pool Party, and my Peacock, and that would be fine, but look how that pops by having that white on there. So when I'm cutting the inside of the white, I get this, and I'm gonna save that for the inside. And look, and that just gets layered right on it. It doesn't cover up the Pool Party. It still leaves just a little bit around it, and I love it. I love it, love it. So this one is the Pool Party, and I used that die that I showed you last week that's coming out March 4th. It's a very heavy 6 by 6 metal die with all these little dots and stripes in it. Very delicate, and it's just the perfect little design back there. And then all of the flowers I used with textured floral. This bundle right here, which I haven't used for a while, it's still available, has the dies and the stamps with it, with a grateful heart. And then on the inside, I took the ring that came from the Peacock and put that here along the white. And then the colors that I used Fresh Freesia and Bubble Bath, because on the color wheel, when I go to Pretty Peacock and Lost Lagoon, look, it goes right across to Fresh Freesia and Bubble Bath. I probably wouldn't have done that, but I really like how it came out. And then I did Lost Lagoon on the leaves and the gold, just a little bit of gold, and my favorite embellishments, those low profile dots. And then the last one I want to show you is using all of these leftover rings from cutting. Right. So another 5 by 5 card. Just seems to work really well with the shape of these because they are kind of big. And remember, if you do a 5 by 5 card, just like I showed you with this little guy, right here. A 5x5 card can go in a 5x7 envelope if you put a little piece of cardstock in there that's 5x7 to kind of help this end from getting crumpled. And it will still be one stamp as long as it's under an ounce. So you can still do the same thing. Put a square card in a regular envelope. You can pay extra for a square envelope, and it's quite a bit extra, but you can do that. When I had all these dies sitting out after I had cut them all, like that, I looked at them and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, let's do something like that. So I'm gonna work my way from the inside out on this one. I'm gonna start with the pool party right here in the middle. And thank you for being and this is from the Friends for Life again. Okay, you need a fine tip glue. And now all we're gonna do is layer these like this. And just make them a little cattywampus. Just kind of this way and that way. And glue them down. Now when I glue these down, I'm really only doing the four or the corners here with a little bit of the glue. And as long as it's in the center, it doesn't matter. So I'm only doing these. And then we're gonna add those little flower dies that come in the dies with this. There's 6 little flowers. Let's see how this is gonna look. I haven't made this yet. I'm making it with you for the first time. In my mind, it's gonna be great. We'll see. And then turn this way. As long as nothing matches, right? We just gotta keep all the ends. Okay. Okay, I did a little bit of silver in there. This friend comes with that die set, so I'm gonna put this here. This also has a little shadow on it that you can cut out to a little bubble that goes behind it, but I'm not gonna do that. We're just gonna do thank you for being a friend, and I'm hoping the flowers will kind of bring it all together. Let's see. Here's those little flowers. I went to my color wheel again, and across from that, they had fresh freesia and crushed curry, so I did daffodil and freesia and put them on the glue dots. And so now I'm just gonna scatter these around and see how it looks. There we go. Oh yeah, I gotta find the little dot for my eye. This disappears slightly. I might move that around just a little bit, but I kind of like the idea of just leaving these extra pieces kind of loose in there. I think it has potential. I'm gonna play around with it a little bit. But definitely think about this bundle, or at least the dies. I would get just the dies if the bees aren't your thing, because these are a lot of fun. And the more shapes you have, the more you can do. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. See it, learn it, stamp it.